Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So I don't know if you know, there is a very famous and well-respected horseman, and he tends to start almost every show by asking the people there, raise your hand if you love horses. And I find this quite interesting, although it's obvious that everybody loves horses. I mean, I love horses, you love horses, people who go at horse shows love horses. I guess even people who are not involved with horses have tremendous affection and admiration for such an amazing animal. So I am here today to ask you a bit of a different question, and that is if you can raise your hand if you feel that your horse loves you back. And what I mean by that is that, do you feel like your horse likes you? Do you think that when you walk into the paddock, your horse or horses are willingly coming to you? Or maybe are they intimidated by you, or in some cases even indifferent towards you? So in any case, let's not get too much involved in this, but let's think a little bit differently. So what I'd like you to do is maybe go a bit back to the very first interaction you ever had with a horse. So that could be your first riding experience, your first riding lesson. I don't know if it was a recent one or maybe it was years ago. For me, it was quite a long time ago, but I remember very clearly that I had a big concern, and that concern was, what if the horse doesn't like me? And it's not just me. Even later on, as I was working as a wrangler, the visitors there would also ask me this question or some similar question like this, like, uh, does the horse like me? Or what can I do to make the horse like me, or to help the horse like me? Should I sit like this, put my feet like this? Should I bring him carrots? What can I do in order to make the horse like me? And of course, as we move along, as time passes on, then what happens is that we tend to forget about this, and then we tend to focus a bit more on what we like to do, what we want to do. And this is where the all the focus goes to the horse, and the horse becomes somewhat of a problem, somewhat of an obstacle in achieving all those things we want to achieve with the horse. So we hire some professional, or we ask, we try to find online answers on this or that issue that our horses have. But what if we kept asking that same question today? So how can I be someone that the horse likes? How can I be someone that the horse enjoys being around? How can I be someone that the horse is proud of? How can I be worthy of the horse by my side? In a way, how can I be a better horseman? You see, all the horsemen that I ever admired, um, they have a story to tell. They have a story to tell about a very specific horse that changed their mindset, that changed their philosophy, that changed the way they do things. And usually it's that particular case, the reason we know of these horsemen. And it's never a horse that was, this uh, very, the $1 million horse that was very expensive from some kind of exceptional breeding farm with good genetics. It's always a case where everybody has given up on. It was changing hands, it was misbehaving, it was uh, on his way to the kill pen. And through their dedication and hard work and wisdom, these horsemen were able to turn that case around. But it was because they were working on themselves, they were focusing on themselves instead of focusing on the horse. So this is kind of the same thing, the point that I'm trying to make here. So horse mindfulness is to be with the horse and for the horse to be with you. I know this sounds a bit simple because it's probably something you've been doing quite a lot of, spending time with your horse. Maybe some of you might be actually living with your horse 24/7. So what I'm saying here is, if you feel like you have a real connection, if you feel like you have a deep and meaningful connection with that horse, I feel like horses ask a very specific question from us. They ask this question all the time. And the question is, are you really here or are you somewhere else? And what they want to know is, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm feeling, what I'm trying to communicate to you? Do you understand the language of horses, the language of the herd? So specifically, the first thing they want to know, they're prey animals. So the first thing they want to know is, are you a danger to me? Do you pose an actual threat to me? And that's not a very good point to start if you want to have a relationship with the horse, if the horse is fearful of you. So if anything you use in your day-to-day interaction with the horse is causing the horse to go into stress, into the sympathetic nervous system, that's not going to work long term if you want to have that deep relationship. Then again, the horse might not be worried about you, but to the point where when you walk into his stall, when you walk into the round corral and you want to do some stuff with him, when you walk into the pasture or the paddock, the horse does not register your presence. The horse does not see you. They don't see you, you don't see me. So the horse acts a bit indifferent towards you. So they want to know if you're a danger, they want to know if you're indifferent, and they want to know if you are one of us, if you are part of the herd. Now, we all know very well that the modern man can throw a very good performance of physically being here, while his mind, his thoughts, and his emotions are completely somewhere else. Now, we know this, we do this, everybody does this, and some of us are very good at this, but horses are not. So what that means when we are with the horse is that we can be physically here, but our mind could be back at home or back at work, thinking about our obligations, our responsibilities, what we're going to have for dinner, or in some cases we might be stuck in the past, worried about the past, thinking about all the traumatic experiences we ever had, we ever encountered with a horse. And this could also mean the stories we tell ourselves about the things we project or the assumptions we make about the horse, and we're not dealing with the horse we have in our hands today at this moment. Or it might mean that we are too much worried about future events. So we are riding down the road and we're worried that the horse is going to spook the next corner at that fallen bucket or something. In any way, these things makes us not being present, and these things make us not being in the moment. And when we're not present and not in the moment, that means we are disconnected. And this is something that creates incongruency in our relationship with a horse. And horses are very good at noticing those incongruencies, especially in the physical realm. So in the physical world, when the horse gazes in the canopy of grass and there are two ears picking out there, he knows that that's off, that's not supposed to be there. And the same thing goes with our mind and our emotions. So when we are with a horse and we're not really there, they're very sensitive to pick up on that. And this is the thing that can make our relationship so dysfunctional and our communication kind of problematic. So let's look at horses in the wild. Look at how they do everything. Look at how they walk. Look at how they go to drink water. Look at how they lay down, how they fall asleep. They do all those things in synchrony. They do all those things in perfect harmony. And when I say harmony, I don't mean peacefulness, because horses can go about and do all sorts of behaviors that are also very, very energetic. Like they can play in perfect harmony, they can play in synchrony, they can fight in synchrony, and they can also run from danger. If you pay very close attention, they run from danger in perfect synchrony with each other. And this is how the herd works. This is how they interact with each other, and this is the same thing they expect from us, but it is so often that we are not available. Has this ever happened to you in an intimate relationship, to feel like you want to communicate, but the other person is simply not available? So in the past, I worked with hundreds of horses and people trying to work through some of the most difficult behavioral problems and cases, trying to fix those problems, trying to fix the horse. And I tend to think of it a little bit differently now, in a way that I'm more trying to help you help the horse. And this is where this thing gets so interesting. This is where this thing we call horsemanship becomes a form of spiritual journey. And please don't get too much tangled up with the words I'm using. It's a journey where you are trying to work on yourself in a way. So this is now your turn to help the horse, because the horse can also be disconnected. The horse can also be locked in the past, can also be locked reliving traumatic events, and the horse can also be worried about the future. So it's now your turn to bring that horse back to the present. It's now your turn to reverse that, as the scientists say, sympathetic response. It's now your turn to bring that horse back into the rest and digest mode. And it's a way of bringing the horse back into the moment, back into you. So horse mindfulness is a state of deeper awareness in the company of horses. It's to be present and to be in the moment and to be able to share this moment with the horse by your side. I believe it's something that can be practiced when you're riding, while you're riding, something that can be practiced while you're doing groundwork exercises, or by simply, just hanging out with horses in the pasture while enjoying the company of the herd. So if you want to know more, there's going to be videos that follow. There's going to be more interviews with interesting people from all over the world, discussing all aspects of horse welfare, not just about their psychology and behavior and training, but also general well-being of the horse. As you may know, we are big advocates of keeping horses as naturally as possible. We have a big track system where horses are able to move around. There is a multiband of equines. We have mules and donkeys and the pony. There is also goats in a small pen over there, and chicken. So it's essential for us that horses are able to move. They're able to socialize with conspecifics. They have hay nets all over. They are barefoot. So yeah, our philosophy has a physical setting now. It's a farm in northern Greece. We're setting up our webpage also, where all this content, all these things we talked about are going to be structured there in a much better form. And my older articles are going to be updated, of course. In any case, you're free to contact me however you like. We are on most social platforms. I think that's all. So thank you very much for watching, and I'd like to welcome you to the journey of the mindful horseman. See you on the path. Bye.